Hi, I'm Karen, and this is the Learning Circuit, where we learn about basic electronics. Today, we're going to talk about learning to solder. All right, Ben, so let's solder on some headers to that battery pack. What do we do first?
Sure, no problem. Well, I usually just clean with my sponge.
Okay.
Yeah, ready to go. But you have that tip cleaning solution as well.
I do, so if your tip gets extra corroded, you can use this, because when you're soldering, you want to make sure that your tip is nice and shiny.
All right, cool. Now my tip is clean.
Wait, Ben, before you start soldering, we must consider safety. Gonna put on my safety glasses, and I'm gonna hook up a fan to blow away those nasty solder fumes. So solder fumes can be really bad for you. You wanna make sure that you are in a well-ventilated area. It's really good to have something blowing your fumes away or sucking them away. You can get a small desktop fan, or you can get a fancy fume extractor that will suck those fumes away, and preferably through some sort of filter.
Or at the very least, don't breathe in the fumes. All right,
Okay.
I'm going to tin these two connections, and the reason I'm doing that, just like tinning the iron, is that it will ensure that there's already solder on the part before we bring the wire to it. And one thing I do sometimes is I'll actually go underneath and make sure it flows all around it. Also, I have my solder splatter cup, which is made out of a pop can. But anyway, that's why, you know, if you flick it, you go into, it's kind of like an ashtray for solder. All right, cool. Now these look like they've got some solder on it, but one thing I like to say is you can never have enough solder until you do. Okay, so I'm right-handed, so I'm gonna go from left to right. I'm actually gonna turn up my heat a little bit because this fan will actually decrease the temperature of the soldering tip.
So when soldering, it's important to make sure that you hold your part until the solder is cooled and becomes solid again. Because if the solder is still liquid and you let go of the part, if it has any spring to it, it can flick back and potentially flick solder elsewhere. And also, then your connection isn't made.
So when it's shiny, that means it's molten. So I can do that. And then once it kind of glazes over a little bit, then you know that it's set. So now we got this battery pack hooked up. So now we can plug it into the proto board. Turn it on, and the lights come on.
Yay!
Yay!
We're gonna move our breadboarded circuit over to this piece of perf board.
All right, so I'm gonna attach this header, and we'll use this for our power plug. So, you know, if I just do this, it's gonna fall out. So what I do is I'll just hold it in place with my finger, like that. Make sure that it's straight. Now I've run out of hands, but that's okay. So I'm gonna bring the solder close and loop it around. So it kind of acts as a third hand. See how I brought it together? And even if, you can also do this, like you can get a little solder and put enough on the pin just to hold it. And then once you've got it in place, and you can...
Then you could put it down and then hold the solder with the other hand.
like this. And then make sure it's flowed properly. So you can do kind of a lesser solder connection just to hold it long enough to allow you to do a good connection. And then if you're doing something like multiple pins, like if you were attaching a big header like this, I usually would just do a loose connection on one end, then the other end, and then work my way through. So let's say that the outside is going to be negative and then the inside is positive. So take the resistors like this, put them on end, and I can use the leads of the resistors as part of the circuit. Now see how I've offset them a little bit? So I'm going to bend these leads over like that, and those are the ones that are going to attach to the LED. And then these, see how I'm bending the leads where I want them before I solder them? So this lead here that I've just bent over, that's going to be our positive input. And actually, see how it's a little bit behind that? I'm going to bring it over here on that side of that one. See how its wire memory is pushing against that? So it'll stay there as long as I don't mess it up. So I'm going to just do the first one just to make sure it doesn't move.
You'll see that Ben is touching the soldering tip to the component and to the board first, getting it hot before he brings in the solder.
Now I'm going to do the second one, and I'm going to hit it from the side like that to make sure it goes around both of these leads, then hit it from the other side, and then make sure the solder is surrounding this lead here, and that should be pretty good. People often ask me what my favorite tool is, and I tell them it's my tweezers. Okay, now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut the pin short, and I'm going to kind of pre-bend it like that, so then when I bend it in, it'll be at a right angle to the pin. Makes sense? Here's something else you can do. You can hold it, heat up the pad, and then bring it in with the iron. Basically finish the bend with the iron. And then, now if I were to unsolder this, it might spring back. So what you can do is you can actually add a little bit more solder down the line. So instead of like reflowing that solder joint, you add another one, and that locks it in place.
Ben's trying to demonstrate a bad solder joint, but he accidentally did it good. So one way to remove that solder is to use some solder wick.
Now solder wick will get hot because it'll transfer the heat. So you put your solder wick over it and you lay down your iron, and then you'll see it suck into the wick. So like a bad or cold solder joint might kind of look like that. There is solder between the pad and the wire, but it's not completely around it, which means it's not being held in place. So mechanical force could cause it to pop loose. Or sometimes things will even, especially if it's like an old solder joint, it would have been properly soldered, but it can still come loose. Like the pin might have like the Hershey Kiss blob of solder around it, but actually be loose, like a cold solder joint. So if you have like old electronics and they're not working, look at the solder joints, and if anything looks suspect, reflow them. Oops, I put way too much solder on, right? I'm connecting two things. There's two ways you can fix that. You can just use the solder surface tension and just pull it away like that. Or, let me see if I can get it back to where it was. You can use the solder wick or the solder suckers that you had. And just a little bit. Doesn't take much. I'm going to snip these leads shorter so they don't go past those pads. So now I can insert this LED, making sure the long lead is near the resistor because that's positive. And now it's going to go right next to that wire that's there. And then I can just solder that to create a connection to the LED.
Cool.
I'm just going to do both at once because I'm a maverick renegade. Now I'm going to hold it down. I'm going to come in and I'm going to hit this one. See how I'm bringing the solder into the part that I've already warmed up? Something else I can do, once it's hot, I can come in here and I can push the other lead from the resistor down a little bit. I'm going to come back over here, and this LED here, I'm going to anchor it in place. Now I can bring this over and bend it a little bit next to the next one. See, I often use just like, you end up with so many snipped wires from resistors, I just use those as my wires. Like if you can just, well, I'm going to do it right here. Like you snip a wire, and then you could take that same wire and lay it down on your board.
Now, one condition where you wouldn't want to use the leads from the components you're using or extra ones that you've clipped is if you're worried about getting shorts in your circuit. Now, a way around that is to use insulated wire like this, where you just remove the part of the insulation where you need to make the connection, and then the rest would stay insulated.
I'll use these leads as power buses, like power and ground, and then I'll use insulated wire for all the I/O and signals, yes. All right, so this one should turn on.
We have a good circuit. Well, thanks for helping me cover Intro to Soldering, Ben.
No problem.
Do you have any tips for soldering that we didn't show? Tell us about them on the Element 14 community on element14.com/the learning circuit. We'll see you next time.